Coming up next on Access Framingham TV, a visit to Yellowstone National Park with my guests Dan and Maya Fishman. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Jack Barron, host of Travels with Jack, here on Access Framingham TV, where guests share with our audience a recent trip, a vacation, a cruise, or maybe a day trip right here in New England. You'll see their photos and hear about the exciting places they have visited. On this month's show, my guests are father and daughter, Dan and Maya Fishman. Dan has always been a big believer in the importance of having dedicated daddy-daughter bonding time. Every year he tries to bring each of his daughters on a trip somewhere special. Maya has always been fascinated with TV, nature shows, especially those dealing with national parks. This year, Maya asked Daddy, Dan, to take her to Yellowstone, which just happens to be Dan's favorite national park. How could he say no? What parts of the world have you visited? Please be my guest on Travels with Jack. Share your travel experience with our viewing audience. Just contact us here at Access Framingham Television and let us know you'd like to be a guest. You can phone AFTV at 508-875-5434. Or you can send an email message to info@accessfram.tv. Our associate producer will contact you to make arrangements for you to be on our show here on Access Framingham TV. If you don't live in Massachusetts, we would be pleased to assist with your travel to the Access Framingham studios. Welcome, and now let me give a special welcome to Maya and Dan, who are our guests at this program. Welcome, the two of you.
Thank you.
Maya, say hello to Jack.
Hi.
Okay. Dan Fishman and Maya Fishman live in Framingham. Dan is originally from Hull, Massachusetts. For those of you who don't know, that's the South Shore. He attended college in Waltham. Lived in Waltham after college for about 5 years. And then he spent almost 8 years, he told me, traveling the world as a consultant in the FDA-regulated industry.
Yeah.
He is currently married to Betsy Fishman, who is one of the hosts of the Access TV show, The Framingham Beat. Maya is a 6-year-old student at the Potter Road School here in Framingham, and Maya loves music, gymnastics, theater, ballet, and is also a great swimmer. I don't know if she's as good as Michael Phelps. We're right now running the Olympics in Rio. And Dan also loves to travel. He is especially fond of national parks and cruise ship destinations. He has also traveled with Betsy and his other daughter, Cece, who is 4 years old, on some trips. And Cece's favorite things are following in Maya's footsteps and following her interests, although I'm sure Cece will develop her own interest as she gets a little bit older. How's that for the introduction? We got through that. So tell me how you planned your trip to Yellowstone, and I'm sure Bill will have a map come up for us at some point, but give me a little idea how you planned it, how you got there, that whole gist.
Sure. Well, Maya and I, like you said in the introduction, love watching as we're settling down bedtime, some of those nature shows, and it's always a show, something like a volcano at Yellowstone or the wildlife at Yellowstone, and she would never fall asleep when she was watching those. So she asked if we could go there, and I said, if you go to sleep, we'll go there.
Bribery.
Yes. So naturally, she listened to me, and then we decided that it was a great trip. So we looked into it. It's actually easiest to fly into Salt Lake City and then take a jaunt over to West Yellowstone, which is in Montana.
You flew from Salt Lake City to West Yellowstone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So it's an easy flight to Salt Lake City from here. It's direct from Boston,
Yep.
and then the Yellowstone leg is 45 minutes.
Okay.
It's a quick flight. And then West Yellowstone is right on the west side of the national park. It's a great entrance location, and West Yellowstone, the town itself, has a lot to offer. We chose to stay at a KOA cabin. I wanted to maybe do a tent camping, but I thought Maya might just be this side of too young to do a camping trip at this point.
How did you book all this? Did you do it with a travel agency? Did you do it online? What?
I'm pretty seasoned as far as all that goes, but I did that online. So I knew the Delta flew to Salt Lake City and West Yellowstone.
So you knew the whole schedule?
Yeah. I knew a company's rented at West Yellowstone Airport for cars, and I knew that I wanted to stay in it at the very most a camping cabin, not in a hotel. So
And so you had a good idea what you wanted to do ahead of time.
Yeah. And Maya, what did you think of the cabin?
I think that sleeping and cuddling and having my binky.
You enjoyed the cabin?
Yeah, and I let the pillows on the swing.
Yeah, and we put pillows, and she was on the swing in the front yard. She had a great time.
So these cabins are basically old style motel type cabins, would you say?
I'd say it's pretty modern.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on and sit down there, sweetie.
Yep.
Okay.
It's pretty modern. It had a full size bed and 2 bunk beds.
Oh, great. Yep. So they're family oriented.
Yeah, very much so. KOA is really stepped it up. Some of the other higher models have bathrooms inside them. We didn't go with that option.
Okay.
We're not very far from the bathroom, so.
And tell me a little bit about your first days there. Restaurants, what did you find for that?
Well, there's pretty much everything you can think of. There's Italian, there's American, there's all sorts of pizza places and pasta places.
So no shortage of...
Not in West Yellowstone. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then tell me a little bit about your first day. Bill should have some pictures for us, but till we run those, tell me a little bit about how you started out the first day.
Sure. Very early in the morning, we had somebody pick us up and drive us over to the Framingham Logan Express, since it was before, I think it was at 4 in the morning, maybe 10 minutes to 4.
Oh boy, you started early.
Yeah, well, our flight was at 6, so we then took the Logan Express bus, and then we took a plane to Salt Lake City, and then another plane to West Yellowstone. Then we rented a car.
And you got settled in the hotel.
And then we got settled in the hotel, went back into town, got a bite to eat.
Good.
One thing that you'll see in some of the pictures is another gentleman that's with us, a good friend of mine from when I was traveling those 8 years.
Oh, really?
His name is Gary, and the two of us have traveled a number of trips together.
Did he have children with him as well?
No, Gary doesn't have children.
Okay.
He's not married. But he's gone on a number of the daddy-daughter trips with Maya over the years. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
So we met up with Gary, and
He lives where? Out west or?
No, so he lives in South Carolina.
Okay. So he met you there.
Yeah, we met in Salt Lake City, and then we flew up to West Yellowstone together.
There's our map. So Yellowstone is what? Near Idaho?
Yeah, it's right on the corner of Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming.
Oh, see, I didn't even realize that. Okay. Oh, there you are.
We're on the Framingham Logan Express bus at this point. Maya, you look excited there, huh? And then we're on the plane.
How'd you do on the plane, Maya?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah, we had televisions. Each seat had their own television, so you could watch your kids' shows.
New plane.
It's fairly modern, yeah.
And fortunately, Delta's computers were working that day. You were able to fly.
That was me reading.
Okay.
Yeah, she's choosing her show to watch. Yeah, you can see us backing away on our way out there. That's my buddy Gary.
Okay.
We met him in Salt Lake City. We had a couple of hours layover.
And he got his own plane.
Oh, really? He has a private plane?
He does own his private plane, but he didn't fly to Salt Lake City.
He didn't?
He flew commercial to Salt Lake City.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's a bit far from South Carolina.
Oh, he's a pilot, though.
Yes,
And he let me go on it.
he did. But we're not going to tell Mommy. Shh.
Oh, it's a secret, Betsy.
Yeah.
Okay, and here you are, yeah.
Yeah, so now we're waiting in Salt Lake City, and Maya decided to approach a baby named Henry, and you were the babysitter the whole time, right? Yeah, she was playing with Henry and having a lot of fun. And there we are on the plane to West Yellowstone. That one was a much smaller plane.
Now, do most people who go to Yellowstone come in at West Yellowstone? Is that kind of the major entry point?
There's a lot of different ways. You
Really?
can come into the south in Jackson Hole. You could come in
Jackson
from,
Hole, Wyoming is borders on Yellowstone.
yeah, you could come in from the east from Cody. You could come in from West Yellowstone, which is on the west. From the north, there's Billings. There's a number
Now,
of
do
places.
a lot of people stay? I mean, I know when you mention Jackson Hole, there's a lot of resorts there.
There are, and there's Grand
Do
Teton.
those people generally go over to Yellowstone if they're staying in those resorts? Is that really what the link is?
Well, I would probably say, as a novice person, you think you could do Grand Teton and West Yellowstone at the same time, but Yellowstone is the size of Delaware and Rhode Island combined,
Okay.
so it's massive. So you can't actually do both in one trip. I've been there a number of times, I think 5 times. First time I went there, I said, I'll spend 3 days, and I had some leisure time between assignments, and I ended up spending 10 and maybe seeing half of
Really?
what I wanted to see at Yellowstone.
So what kind of tours do they have when you get there? Do they have bus tours within the park? I mean, how do you decide what you're going to see in this absolutely massive park?
You can be as prescriptive as you want. You could have defined tours, or you could just be free-flowing, grab your backpack, and head out.
They offer defined tours.
There are groups that offer the defined tours, and especially if you're in one of the towns like Gardner or Jackson Hole or West Yellowstone or Cody, they offer those there. Inside the park, it's far less commercialized. There are still a number of ranger-led activities, which are a lot of fun. Ranger-led hikes.
They
and
do. They
a lot
have
of
activities.
talks.
Now, do you have to sign up for that stuff well in advance?
Most
You're
of them,
smiling. Go ahead.
well, most of them you can't. Now, this year,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's kind of first come, first serve. Now, this year, there's over 4 million people that are visiting, and a quarter of them at least are in July. So
Really? So you had 1 million people in the month of July.
there was 1 million people there. So, and remember, this is the centennial, so it's the 100th anniversary of the national parks as well.
Okay.
And Yellowstone is the first national park. So it was from 1872, and it's the world's first, not just the United States' first national park. So it's kind of where everybody gravitated to. So it was quite crowded. At times, if you're driving along the roads, there's a lot of traffic. It was not as enjoyable when you're stuck in half-hour traffic, no more so than if you're driving into Boston or something. But if you're planning your
This
trip
is the airport you came in,
yeah,
West Yellowstone. See, I didn't know there was a West
yeah.
Yellowstone.
And there's the cabin. You can see it's a nice, fresh-looking
Oh,
cabin,
this
and
is
the swing on
you
the front.
meant. Okay.
You love the swing, right? Yeah.
Now, I've had friends who've gone there in the winter. Have you ever done that?
We never gone there.
Well, the highs in certain parts of the park are maybe 9 degrees, so it's cold.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's that cold.
And a lot of the park, the roads are under 5-10 feet of snow, and so you really can only come in through the Jackson or West
So
Yellowstone
you would
entrances.
say it's really a late spring, summer, fall trip, period.
Unless you're hardy.
Yeah, okay.
If you want to get in there, snowmobiles are controversial there, so I wouldn't always count that you could do them.
Really? Okay.
Some people are harassing the wildlife.
That's our penny.
Yeah, the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center. You'll see some pictures on that on the end. Yeah. And there's the town of West Yellowstone with the restaurants and Maya posing, of course.
Looks a little bit Cape Codish.
And that's the pink
The main street.
sunset.
Yeah, there's the pink sunset. That was our first sunset when we got there, and wow, that's all I could say.
Your pictures are very clear.
Thank you.
It's Yellowstone Lake.
No, that's just driving along the road. That's how amazing this park is, because that's just stop over the side of the road, snap a photo. There's wildlife everywhere. Just up from there, we passed a moose. It was creating a traffic jam naturally. But
It was a buffalo across the street.
Oh yeah, buffaloes cross the street all the time. They walk right down the center of the roads.
So they don't seem that bothered by the people.
Buffaloes are not.
No. What about bears? Did you see any bears?
Yes.
At the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center, we did.
But not roaming around.
No, they're well into the backcountry at this
really?
time of year. Yeah, there's Maya climbing her rocks. She loves to climb. Yeah, and again, this is just a roadside waterfall. You're going along the road and you pull over and
So you
pose for a
drove
waterfall.
yourself with your rental car through there?
Yep. That's, again, Gary and Maya at the...
Is that what you'd say most people do? They drive through themselves?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Now, this picture here looks just like a fallen log, but you really have to zoom way in, which I don't think we have the ability to do. But there's actually an animal in there.
Oh, okay.
It's a lesser squirrel is what it's called, but it's camouflaged perfectly for the environment. It's just sometimes you really have to look to see all the wildlife. So this is where we went on our first day inside the park, the Canyon Visitor Center, which is surprisingly near the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. Not to be confused with the Grand Canyon.
Okay, in Arizona.
Yeah, the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone has the traditional attraction is the lower falls, but it also has the upper falls, and it has quite a number of other hiking and other activities to do.
Would you say the park was well maintained? What was your opinion?
Extremely well maintained.
Extremely, okay.
Yeah, this is in the visitor center, stuffed animal, but not a small stuffed animal, very large.
No, that looks like it was the real thing.
Yeah.
And I thought it was real.
Yeah, we did think it was real. You can see now it's inside the building. But the visitor centers are excellent. Of course, they're geared to the younger folks.
And that's a ranger.
That's right. The ranger was giving a talk. This was a talk all about the art that the people who were trying to make this into a national park had a bunch of artists and photographers come in, and the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone is so amazingly
So you're saying in the
photogenic.
1870s when they wanted to put this all together? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So this ranger gave a whole talk about all the work that went into getting Congress lobbied to make this into a national park.
Any idea how many rangers they employ there?
It's on the range of 170, and a number of them are
Which is really-
furloughed in the off season.
Which is really not a lot for if you're telling me you've got 1 million people coming to the park.
For sure. Yep. There's definitely quite a number of times that you wish there was a ranger around as people are approaching a buffalo or something like that, and they're going to get themselves gored and really hurt, and sometimes you have to be their friends.
This is what?
So this is part of the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. You can see the colors, which is why I like this picture. There's pinks and yellows and oranges and purples. What do you think, Maya? You like these colors?
Yeah, I like the pink.
Yeah, she likes the pink. But that is on the far end there, the lower falls of the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone. You could see it looks like it's a real long distance away, but when you're there, it doesn't seem quite that far.
Oh, that's moving pretty good too.
Yeah,
So
it's
they
a
don't
fast
go
river.
rafting down there so quickly.
I wouldn't raft down that waterfall.
No.
Yeah. No, but it is probably the most scenic spot and one of the more iconic images of Yellowstone as you see that picture there, the lower falls. And naturally, we try to recreate it with us in it as well. So there's daddy-daughter.
I'm trying to make out your hat.
It's the Aggies,
Oh, okay.
Texas A&M. There's the pink rocks right behind her there. That's the opposite
Pink
view.
rocks, okay.
Yeah, they call it the Yellowstone River because all the stone along the river is yellow, except for farther down where we are, it's also pinks and purples. Right by
Really?
Artist Point, they call it, because artists love to paint all the different colors. Yeah, a little bit of clouds going on, but it was perfect weather. 70s.
Yeah, oh, you had good weather.
It was high 70s. Couldn't ask for any better weather. Occasionally we'd feel a raindrop, but it never really rained on us. This is just right by the parking lot. It's a juvenile elk. A little different than the deer. You don't find many deer at that altitude. And that is a picture of the upper falls from a distance. And we'll see some closer images. Maya by the upper falls.
Now, this water, what, comes down from the mountains?
Yeah, it's melts and
Yeah.
yeah. This isn't hot spring water or anything. It's definitely melt and runoff from the rains. They have all these little placards that you can learn about the various either wildlife or the images that you're seeing. In this case, this was a placard that talked about the waterfall, the upper falls. And again, this is just, while they were reading the sign, I took a look and you just see another waterfall in the background, just everywhere. There's hundreds of waterfalls.
Do they get a lot of rain? Because it looks very green. I'm just...
They get their fair share.
They do get their fair share, okay.
Yeah. And
Now, what about people who live, I always hear these stories of homes that are on the border of the park or, near something. Did you see any private homes around?
they've pretty well got rid of most of the private
did.
homes there. There's still a lot of private resorts like the Yellowstone Lodge and in Mammoth area by the Mammoth Hot Spring Terraces, which we'll see later. There's a lot of business development. It's almost like an extension of like Gardner, Montana, where you have a lot of businesses, restaurants, things like that. There's a post office. Pretty much every section has a post office.
But it's very restricted as to what they're building.
I would say it's certain parts of the park are very well protected. Other parts of the park are not.
That's Maya in her love shirt.
Yeah, there's a buffalo in the background.
I was going to say, I see something in the background. What is it?
Maya had to go to the bathroom, and as we were walking towards the bathroom, we said, "What's that?"
Oh, my God.
And that thing was right at the bathroom.
Yeah.
And so we waited till it walked away a little, and then we went in, and it followed us toward the bathroom, and then it went right behind the bathroom. That was pretty scary, huh?
But they don't tend to bother people.
And they're too big to get in the door.
Yeah, they're too big to get in the door.
I got news for you. They could push the door over.
But they're pretty docile. They're pretty
But
used to
that was the
Now,
old
this
one.
is the Yellowstone River behind you?
That is the upper falls. This is
Okay.
as we're heading to the upper falls is a trail.
Now, how did you figure out the trails? They give you maps, or is it
Yeah, they give you a
digital,
map.
or what is it?
No, they give you a map as you're
Okay,
driving
and
along.
you just follow it through.
Yep,
How did Maya, did she keep up with you on the whole thing?
sure.
She did.
Yeah, she was a trooper.
Oh, all right. She's
Yeah,
a good walker and
some
everything.
days she might have got a little tired, right?
Yeah.
Especially as we were heading over to like the Norris Geyser Basin, and it's just a very hot, steamy area with
I
lots
was
of
going to say, it looks like it would
lots
be
of sulfur coming out of the ground.
A lot of trekking for a 6-year-old.
Yeah, but she's pretty good. She held up.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
And we tried to make it hikes that weren't like 5 miles in. It was
Okay.
Maybe a quarter mile at most from the
and
parking
did you
lot.
like pack a lunch or?
Yeah, we had
you
lunch.
did? Okay.
And again, Canyon Visitor Center and Yellowstone and Mammoth, they all have restaurants and
So,
cafeterias. So you don't have to pack everything.
Okay.
You don't get too far from a bathroom or
Really?
a restaurant or
So you're saying it's very well laid out.
Yeah, they have gas stations, of course, because it's the size of Rhode Island and Delaware combined. If you're stuck in the middle, you don't want to run out of gas.
I bet people do run out of gas.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Oh, look at this. This is a video.
Yeah, you can see it zigging and zagging, and the water's heading to the upper falls, and then it drops off.
Where did it go?
And when we were there, you can't see it in the video, but there was a rainbow down the bottom from all the mist.
Really, this moves pretty good, this one.
I saw it.
Yeah, we saw it. That's right. Yeah, the water does move pretty well.
It was right.
Now, did they have ropes and different things all around to keep you back?
Nope.
No. Okay.
I mean, right there, you can see the rocks pile. It's kind of a wall, but you could easily get around the wall and jump in if you wanted to.
Really?
Yeah, and
Do people do that?
number of people die every year from doing
They
something
do.
that's less than safe. The rangers try and talk people away from that and reinforce keeping on trails, but some people are insistent on getting that shot that is going to be the last thing they do. So, yeah, there's just an amazing experience when you're there and you hear the water, which you can't really hear in, a picture, but the water is just thundering down and going so fast. You could see it's coming, zigging and zagging its way.
Now, where does it end up? Where does this end up flowing into? Do you know?
Ultimately, the Gulf Coast, probably.
Yeah, but I'm saying, does it join into another
Or
river?
California.
Or what?
I don't know this particular river. May end up in the Colorado eventually.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, Maya.
When they when the lava came down and they landed in the water, it did zigzags.
Yeah, the lava actually helped to. What she's saying
So
is
they
the
say
lava
there was a
helped to
volcano
change.
there.
It is a volcano.
Really? What's a volcano? The whole,
The whole
area?
yeah.
Wait,
There's a
you
45
can see
mile
the
by
rainbow
30
now.
mile caldera from the last
You can
explosion.
see the rainbow.
There is a rainbow. Yeah.
So the volcano is where? At the peak of the...
No, it's a caldera. It's sunk. So
It's sunk,
So
okay.
we're walking, driving through the caldera the whole time. It's a super volcano. So the last time it went off was about I say 650 million years ago, and it's due.
Oh!
It's due. It goes off about every 600 million years. So,
Okay.
and if that were to happen today, and there's a lot of shows about it in the visitor center, that would probably wipe out half the country, and if not more.
Really? Why? What did they
But there's a little
project?
excitement going in a place that is going to wipe out half the country. This picture here is back in the KOA cabins. I just love it. That's Roaring Mountain because the whole mountain is emitting steam.
Well, it looks like lava.
Well, at some point it might have been, but now just the cracks are letting the
Okay.
steam come up, and some of it is sulfurous and some is just water vapor. But in general, a lot of these steam features, thermal features, have a little sulfurous smell to them, just because it's dissolving the sulfur
Right.
in the rocks, and again, it's coming out. So you got to be prepared for that too.
Did you find any of the businesses were using like thermo heating, utilizing the hot ground and stuff?
What has happened in other regions that have tried that is it kills the thermal features, and the thermal features die out. So it is forbidden by law
Really?
to tap into the thermal energy. Yeah.
Oh, they found it diminishes it.
It has, there's definitive evidence around the world that it actually destroys the thermal features when you try and use the thermal energy.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Did you see any utilization of solar energy out there? Or?
Sure.
That you did. Okay.
Yeah, no, not really windmills.
I should gravitate to the picture. This is what?
This is the Mammoth Hot Springs area.
Oh, there's Maya. Okay. Yeah.
So this area has a hot spring way up at the top of a mountain, which you can't even see in these pictures. But it emits calcium-laden water, which then precipitates down in these layers, and it looks like steps, which is why they call them terraces.
Oh.
So the Mammoth Hots, you can see them right
Oh,
there.
I see it.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's Devil's Thumb, the big rock.
Okay.
But this again is just a very small snapshot. It's literally the size of a mountain that these terraces just form, and the calcium deposits come on the ground, and it just forms these beautiful features. Now, naturally, you wouldn't walk on them because it's boiling temperature on the water. Plus, you would ruin the features. The orange is actually a live bacteria mat.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of the features have these thermophile bacteria that love the heat and grow on it.
Now, I'm assuming people have the intelligence. They stay away from that. There must be
And that's
signage.
a whole
There are signage.
Yeah.
What is that, Maya?
that's a whole pile of elk.
That is a bunch of elk right in the middle of the Mammoth Hot Springs Rotary. They just camped out there.
Now, do the people feed them?
No, you're not allowed to.
Not allowed to.
You're not allowed to even approach them, and certainly feeding them would get you a good fine.
So they give you instructions when you get there. Don't do this, don't do that.
They'll give you a newspaper, but again, a lot of people are not very smart about it, and they go right up to them, and you can get gored by the antlers even on an elk. Yeah, the elk are much more aggressive than the
That's my
buffalo.
ranger friend.
There's another ranger talk. This is at the visitor center at Mammoth Hot Springs.
And I have the friend.
Yeah, she became Maya's friend. She said, "Will you be my friend?" And she said, "Of course."
And
That's a talk that they were giving on the history of the park
and
and all the poaching that used to happen on the animals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and what led up to the Lacey Act, which prevented people from poaching the animals anymore.
What is that? A particular law, you're saying?
Yes. Again, when they formed the park, it was to protect the land, but it did nothing for the animals. So
they later came in with some laws to protect the animals.
That's right. And this is up
Very
in Gardner.
interesting.
This is up in Gardner. The bison herd, by the way, were almost completely obliterated.
I remember hearing something
And
about
they were
that.
down to about 600 animals. And now they're up over 8,000.
So the government worked to redevelop them.
Yep. That is the classic arch that was used for the dedication of the park.
Oh, really? So that's from the 1800s?
Yes, for the enjoyment of the people. That's the motto. As you can see, there's a buffalo right along the side of the road there. They just graze, come right up to the side of the road.
Did it tell you in all this historical as to how they picked this particular property to be a national park?
Just because of all the uniqueness. There's a lot of thermal features.
Were there
there's
Indian
animals.
tribes there at the time, or
I'm sure there were.
there were, but they're gone?
We as a country were not very kind to them. The area that we're approaching now is the Norris Geyser Basin, which is the most active thermal area in the world. This is where every turn there's a new geyser or a mud pot, or they call them fumaroles, which means a smoker, which is what you see right in front. Has lots of hot springs. This area was pretty open and the sun was out pretty strong. So Maya got a little tired walking that boardwalk. It's about a half a mile boardwalk. And you don't want to go off the boardwalk. Somebody did get killed in this area by walking off the boardwalk. The ground just collapses and you could fall right through into...
But the boardwalk, what, is supported on supports of some kind? Or?
You hope.
You hope, okay.
Just through its mass, it's unlikely that the whole boardwalk is going to sink.
So they tell you stay on the boardwalk.
Absolutely. Signs everywhere. Yep. And again, you just see the colors and the heat. And it's just an amazing place to be. In that picture, you could see there's just a big hole in the ground. You know, you can imagine just walking off and falling right down into a 6-foot hole filled with boiling water.
Oh.
Yeah. Boiling acidic water, sulfurous water. And again, there's you see a lighter orange buffalo there. That lighter orange buffalo is a juvenile. So there's a calf. And I say buffalo. Technically, they're bison, not buffalo. But everybody calls them buffalo.
Everyone calls them buffalo, okay.
Yeah, buffalo are really only in Africa, the water buffalo.
And I was stuck in that bear.
She did get stuck in the bear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's in West Yellowstone. They have this bear, and everybody takes their picture, and she crawled right in the center and couldn't get out.
Oh, so...
has sharp nails and everything.
So
too.
how did you get her out of there? You finally lifted her out?
Yeah, we twisted and got her out. She got in, she could get out. And there's a good picture of the cabin.
Oh, that is your cabin. Gee, it looks
And
tight.
that is my pajamas.
Yeah, she's wearing her pajamas. It's not that tight actually. When you're in there, it's pretty spacious. I mean, it fits a full-size bed with no problem. More than I needed.
How many cabins were in this little area?
Maybe 20, 30.
Oh,
somewhere in that
okay.
range. Yeah.
And how far in advance did you book this? The cabin?
About 7 months.
You did?
Yeah.
And did they indicate to you, could you pick any date you wanted, or even 7 months previous there was limited?
It books up because you get 1 million people in the month of July that are trying to
So
find
you would tell
reservations.
our viewers who are
Yeah.
watching us today, you better book far in advance.
I would plan well in advance.
Well in advance.
Yeah,
Okay.
and again, if you're camping, you could generally find something in the area. It won't necessarily be inside the park.
So give me an idea of what's the high end, medium, lower end price range for the.
Well, if you're camping, you could generally get something even high season for $30 a night, which is
Okay.
affordable.
And what did these cabins cost?
Cabins are about $130 a night.
Okay, so
which is a hotel room. Yeah, that price. But an actual hotel room is like $300 a night in the high
Okay.
season. So you can find cheaper motels.
And what is considered the premium hotels?
Yellowstone doesn't have chains. West Yellowstone doesn't
Okay.
have chains. So, if you're in Jackson, everything's going to be more expensive because it's a very ritzy area. But West Yellowstone, you can find
Jackson
affordable.
Hole, I think, has some. I think Amman has a resort there, and I know.
You can get resorts for $700-800 a night in that
Okay.
area if you want to.
So it's that much different in Jackson Hole versus West Yellowstone.
It's kind of like Aspen versus
gotcha.
Steamboat. It's,
Yep.
it's definitely a different atmosphere.
So really, but you're seeing the same park,
Yep.
just the changes.
Yep. This picture gives you a good flavor of how clear and how amazing that water is. That's probably 12 feet deep there, if not deeper, and you can just see right to the bottom. And
I see the little sign "Danger."
yeah, it's hot. You don't want to get too close. You can see the bubbles coming up in that last picture. That one there is called White Dome, and we had just missed getting a picture of it. As we were driving up, it was doing the last of its eruption.
Oh, so you're saying this is a geyser?
It is,
Okay.
indeed. And it was shooting probably a good 20 feet in the air, at
Wait,
least at the point where we saw it.
wait. That was the last geyser?
No, this is Firehole Lake.
No, the
There's a
last
whole drive,
geyser
Firehole
was
Lake Drive, and that got its name because, as you can see, it's constantly erupting. There's geysers that just never stop. It's constantly.
And this is hot water in there, in this lake.
It's boiling.
Yeah.
In fact, it's superheated. Yep. There's Old
Oh,
Faithful.
Old Faithful. Take a little sip of your drink there.
It's right here.
There you go.
Yep. So Old Faithful had about every 90 minutes is when it erupts, and as we were there, it was more like 110. So I had the ranger a little nervous because it's normally, as you said, 90 plus or minus 10 minutes. So he was trying to figure out what was going on. Either that or he was making it very dramatic for us.
Oh, that could be too. Sometimes
There's
they do
the
that.
ranger right there.
Sometimes they do that.
And as you can see, it's just starting to spout now.
And how
Before
long
was
does
an
it
empty
spout
hole.
for?
Good 5, 6, 7 minutes. Yeah.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty constant. And the initial spurts can be 150, 200 feet in the air.
Really?
Yeah, the day we were there, 140 feet is what they posted.
Oh,
Here's-
there it is. Look at the
Here it's
video.
going on.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
And everybody starts going, ooh, ooh, ooh.
Ooh, isn't
Yeah.
this amazing? And everybody starts snapping their pictures. A few people stand up right in
pretty
front
cool,
of you.
huh?
You know, it
Well, it
gets,
really seems to go quite high.
it does. 140 feet is 14-story building. Yeah, that's no small matter. It doesn't look that high because the picture's so far away. There's another view of another eruption that we saw. We saw about 4 of them while we were in
So
the area.
you do look like you're quite a distance from.
Yeah, you don't want to step too close. I mean, it's boiling hot water and the ground is not necessarily stable. Where all the people are clustered is the boardwalk where we saw the initial view from. In the background there is just another geyser. It's I don't remember the name right now. It's not the Grand Geyser, but it's another one of the geysers right next to Yellowstone. As we're approaching here, you'll see the water running down across the bridge. This is the Grand Prismatic Geyser, which is the classic one you see with the yellows and greens and blues and reds, and it looks like an eyeball. Unfortunately, you can see it was very foggy the day we were there. So all that we saw was a lot of wind and a lot of fog.
Look at this. This is what?
This is Grand Prismatic Spring, which should be the super colorful
No, I'm
spring
just
that looks
looking
like
at
an
the
But it was
appears to be
very
rock, the
steamy.
lines and the rocks and
all,
everything.
all of that is live. That's bacteria mats. It's coming
Really?
out from the hot spring. Yeah, the thermophilic bacteria, they love it.
And what do you do with thermophilic bacteria?
Well, you don't do anything with it. You're not allowed to touch it. But
But
NASA
you're
studies
in that
it.
industry, so
Yeah.
what,
Well,
what
NASA
can be
studies
done
it.
with it?
NASA studies it because it's a sign of how certain life forms might survive on hot planets out in space or something. But it's just doing its thing. It's surviving. It's living in hot water and doing what it's supposed
So
to
if
do.
I thought hot water was going to kill bacteria, I'm fooling myself. Certain bacteria are going to survive quite well.
You would have to look long and hard to find a bacteria that's going to survive in a boiling water in your home. If you go to a place where it's hot all the time, the bacteria will find a way.
Really?
And it adapted to the hot water environment. You find them in the bottom of the ocean by the springs, and you find them in the areas like Yellowstone where you have the geysers and the hot springs. Yeah.
You comfortable over there, Maya?
Oh, my tummy hurts.
All right. Well, we're moving right along.
Yeah.
Daddy, tell us what this is.
This one here, I believe, is also part of that same area. I don't know specifically where that one is. Yeah, that was part of the
These
same
are
area.
camping people. So
Yeah. This is in the KOA campground we were in. There were RVs, there was cabins, there was tents.
So a lot of people bring an RV with them.
Quite a few bring
Quite a few.
RVs, and they spend a summer and just hop from park to park. And
Oh, they do. Okay. Probably a good way to
and
do
you
it.
can see there's a rainbow there.
yeah, there's a full rainbow there. I actually took a tour, did a good 3-month tour when I was able to in 2002, and just went all around the parks in the West. And so I didn't have an RV.
You did it with an RV?
No, I didn't have an RV. I had a tent.
Oh.
And I just went and showed up and found a spot for my
But
tent.
this looks like if I could see renting a big, RV type thing with your family would be a nice way to do the trip.
I've rented them before. They're horrible on gas, but
Okay.
yeah. There's Maya. She got her Junior Ranger badge, which I brought to show you.
Don't turn off your microphone.
I don't.
There we
You
go.
can
Oh,
see
there's,
her Yellowstone Junior Ranger badge.
Oh, that's like the airlines used to give us junior pilot badges.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was in that picture. She was getting sworn in by the ranger,
Very good.
and she promises to protect the animals and protect the park. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I had to promise.
She did.
Now, what exactly authority does the Rangers have? Do you know?
Depends. Inside the park, that's part of the reason the Lacey Act came into place is they didn't have any ability to protect the animals until that happened, which is around 1900. I don't know exactly when.
So the Rangers can be involved. They catch poachers or whatever.
Yeah, and there are rangers who are doing traffic. There's rangers that are, doing investigations and things like that. The majority of the rangers are there, for education, though. There's tons of places and events. When you get there, they give you a book, and there's probably 150 events on any given day that the rangers lead, whether it's a ranger-led walk, a talk, some sort of slideshow, a campfire talk.
Is this considered, I don't know too much about park rangers. Is this considered a premium position when you get to be at Yellowstone, or they're all...
They're all good, but
Okay.
but Yellowstone is one of the more sought after ones
It is,
for sure.
okay.
I
know
mean,
we have rangers in Boston who take you around the Freedom Trail.
there are
I believe they are national park rangers.
they believe in their mission, which a big part of it is education and interfacing with the people. Now, this is the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center, and we were lucky enough to be there on one of the 3 days that they set up a tent safety demonstration. They have bears that are no longer able to survive in the wild, and they're there to take care of them. So
I
they
mean, they're old.
either
not
old or they had attacked people or campsites, or they would continually come back to a town. So they weren't living in the wild. So they put them in a place like this. Now, this particular demonstration, as you saw, the people were setting food out. And now you can see they let 5 bears out, and the bears just come right to the campsite. They help themselves to everything. They put...
Oh, they're big.
They're huge. They're massive.
These are
Those
what,
are grizzlies.
black bears? Oh, those are grizzlies.
Yeah, they
And they teared the tent.
They did. They tore the whole tent apart, literally ripped it into shreds.
And they wrecked the table.
Yeah, they destroyed the table. They destroyed the fire pit. They had some grapes that they just threw around. They turned over every single rock that you could imagine to find the grapes. They put marshmallows in the tent. Bears going right up to the tent. You'll see it's going to rip the screen and just walk right in. And yeah, it was quite the demonstration. And again, they only do it about 3 times a year.
That's a wolf.
And this is a wolf.
It is indeed a wolf.
Thank you, Maya. Thank you for telling me.
Yeah, they had about 2 or 3 packs, I can't remember, of wolves. And
how were you able to get so close to see them?
well, there's an observatory ledge.
Okay.
This is in the Grizzly and Wolf Discovery Center, which I highly recommend if you go to West Yellowstone, because you won't see a wolf or a bear unless you're really lucky. And here you can have...
Oh, I see.
They actually feed them, and you can watch them doing their feeding. And again, with the bears, they bring them out and do
So you're really not going to see
demonstrations.
too many bears or wolves?
You won't see them.
Okay.
They stay away from you. Just, some endangered ground squirrel.
Yep.
Yep. And they also had an aviary. So that was peregrine falcon. And they also had some bald eagles. And
Oh, really?
yeah, they had a golden eagle. Those are the bald eagles.
So all the animals and birds you might hope to see, they've put them together for you, so you don't have to look too hard.
Well, there's ways to do it, like at the Wolf and Grizzly Discovery Center. So yeah, there's definitely opportunities, but it's fun when you're driving along the road. I just saw a coyote standing right next to the road. And
Now, let's say you finished this, you're exhausted. You went back to the cabin, and how did you make selections for your dinner?
well,
Did you barbecue at all? Did you do anything like that?
you drive through West Yellowstone on the way back to our particular campground.
Yep.
So we found some restaurants that were good, and we had, you'll see a picture later, we sat in one place that it was shaped just like these covered wagons. So, and they come and they have the old Western fare and everything.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so they have a few themed restaurants. There was
They did
Italian
good.
restaurants. There was, number of, opportunities. Whatever you're really in the mood for, you could find in a Gardner or West Yellowstone.
And this is what, again, a wolf?
Yeah, this is where they were feeding the wolves.
Peanut butter, which I'm allergic.
Yeah, they did. They fed them peanut butter and a couple other things. And so then they had the wolves go back into their den, and then they put the food around, and the wolves went and discovered it. And they put some other scents that the wolves like to roll around in scents. And
We saw a dead body.
a dead, that's a carcass. Yeah, they were eating a carcass, the wolves.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, they keep them busy.
yeah. And there's the world's
Oh,
biggest
my goodness,
couch.
look at that couch.
What do you think? Is that a big bear couch?
Where was this?
This is at the Grizzly and Wolf
That's all
Discovery
right.
Center.
That's all right. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
This is at the same
Yeah.
place. Okay.
Yeah, that was at the visitor center there.
Oh, look at more bears.
Oh yeah, she's feeding the bear, right? No, that's a statue. Yeah. So that statue. All right, there
What is
we
it?
are.
Howard Springs. I can read that.
This is in Idaho, which is right over the border, and that was her 20th state.
Oh, what? Maya's been to 20 states?
Yeah.
Wow.
Not bad at 6, huh?
Okay, so this is what you're now in Idaho.
Yeah, you just passed over literally passed through the pass.
Okay.
And coming down the other side, there was the Howard Springs, and we refreshed our water bottles with ice cold spring water.
This is good drinking water.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember how cold it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freezing cold.
Freezing cold.
Oh, I like that. I like ice cold water.
Yeah.
Better than the hot water in the springs and the geysers.
Mm-hmm. And we had at the KOA, there was mini golf, and there was a swimming
They really had a
pool,
lot of stuff for you at this
and a playground. Yeah.
And I won the mini golf.
You did win the mini golf.
You.
Yeah, I lost.
Oh, you lost?
I lost.
Dad lost.
Yeah.
I won.
Okay. Let me see what else we got from Idaho there. There, we're back to mini golf.
Yeah. This is at the KOA again in West Yellowstone. And there's the covered wagon in the restaurant that I was telling you about.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
So
And
what they have? Ribs and
They had all that stuff.
Yeah.
You had the pot of gold, right?
now did they
Which is
serve,
the mac
did they
and
serve
cheese.
you bison?
You could eat bison
big
wherever you want. There's lots of bison.
Lots of bison.
Yeah, now the bison just are all farm raised. They don't go in there and hunt
Right.
the
No, I would imagine, yeah.
hunt the wild ones. Yeah. So yeah, again, they had a nice display in there. You could see I think it was a coyote. Yeah, it was a fun activity. And again, the Western restaurants are a lot of fun. She was sitting on top of a bear. This is on July 4th, so you don't see a
You
million.
had to be very busy.
Yeah, you don't see a million people on the tables, but normally it's very crowded. But they just closed the restaurant.
Oh, okay. I was going to say July 4th, that place must have been packed.
Yeah, this is right outside an ice cream place too.
Oh, that's where I'd be, the ice cream place.
Yeah, and this is the day after July 4th as we were leaving. They have a big playground in the center of town, which if you have little ones and you're going there, I highly recommend this. This is one of like 4 or 5 different sets of really nice playgrounds that you could go to just to mix it up. Kill an hour or two before the airport. That was a lot of
So
fun.
how many
right?
days were you out there?
We flew out the 30th. We came back the 5th. So 5 full days. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see they have a lot of nice things for the kids.
Maya has a question.
Yes.
tomorrow I have a show,
Oh, yeah. She's doing a theater show.
and I'm the lead again.
She is the
Oh,
lead. She's
wonderful.
Snow White tomorrow.
Oh, my goodness, you're going to be Snow White?
And I faint.
Yeah,
Snow White of the Yellowstone.
Yeah. She does love her theater.
Good for you. And I don't know if Bill has any other shots. Oh, we do.
Yeah.
There's Myra again on the slide.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them about the fireworks on July 4th?
Mm-hmm.
What happened on July 4th?
It's like
Yeah. And they were, what colors were they?
pink, rainbow.
Yeah. They have a lot of yellows and whites, greens and blues. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to see, are we going to get to see them flying off, Bill? Back to Boston?
No, I don't think we took any more pictures on the flight back.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the flights all went well.
It did. Yeah, no delays. No computer
So
system
where's your
shut down.
next daddy-daughter trip planned for?
What do you think? Well, we're going as a family to Hershey Park.
Okay.
So we may or may not do a daddy-daughter trip if everybody's going to Hershey Park, which is a nice drive, about 7
you're
hours
gonna
down to
drive there.
Pennsylvania.
We
yeah.
had another guest who was there. They had a wonderful time there.
Yeah, it's perfect for a 4-year-old and,
And
a
they went
6-year-old.
camping. They had a camping facility, if I recall.
They do.
Yeah.
Hershey has a number of places that you could go.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what do you think would be after that trip?
What do you think? What's going to be next?
You got somewhere you want to go, Maya?
Yellowstone.
Yellowstone again?
Yellowstone again?
How about
Have you
another
been-
park?
Have you been to Disney World?
Have you been to Disney?
Yeah, we have all been to this.
Yeah, we went
Did you like
last
that?
June.
And guess who I met?
Snow White's dwarfs.
No.
Well, she did meet Snow White. She met Snow White and
Who'd you meet?
Aurora. But who else? Did you-
Aurora.
Yeah, Aurora's her favorite. Sleeping
Well, if you're
Beauty.
going to be Snow White in the show, you'll know all the dwarfs and everything.
And she met Ariel. And Elsa and Anna from Frozen.
I like Elsa the best.
Yep.
Well, you'll probably want to do another national park, I'm sure, because your photos, by the way, were spectacular. Very
Thank
good. You didn't use a telephone camera, did you, with those?
I did.
Did you really?
I have an LG G4. It's an excellent camera.
Oh, a regular camera, but not
No,
on
an LG phone.
Oh, really? Really?
Yep.
Oh, they took great shots.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I'm surprised.
The reason I bought the phone was because of its camera capabilities.
Oh, so you intentionally were looking for that?
Yep. Again, I'm a minimalist when I travel, and if I could carry one thing instead of 3 or 4, that's what I'm going to do.
Well, thank you so much, both of you. Maya, thank you for being on Travels with Jack. Dan, thank you. I hope you'll come back with more photos and share another trip with us.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.